Hello guys, welcome to an exciting episode of Ameyaw Meets. Today I have with me someone very special. He's a multiple platinum hit maker, and of course also a Grammy nominee. He's had it a few times, I think. We're going to get into it. Stick and stay. I'll be right back. All right, welcome back. Nabeyin, that's how to pronounce it.
Yeah, you don't pronounce it like not. It's funny because everybody's been pronouncing it like that, but it's just Nabeyin.
Nabeyin. Good, good, good. So, I mean, the intro, amazing intro. Let people know about you, those who don't know what it is you do, how you got a chance to produce all these amazing hit records.
Yeah, so pretty much Ghanaian music producer from San Bernardino, California. I've worked with, I always hate saying who I've worked with, but I've worked with Drake, Kanye West, Nas, The Game, Miguel, Reason, Isaiah Rashad, Davies, a lot of people from TDE, a lot of other stuff coming that I can't really speak on. Done stuff for TV shows, documentaries, you know.
Great. So let's break it down. How did it all start for you?
So after grad school, I moved back to Southern California and I started working with different producers that I already knew. And so we were all sort of coming up at the same time, but because they were already in LA, they were already making groundwork with other people that they've worked with. And so there was one producer in particular I was working with, and he ended up getting me this gig to do the theme song for a show on BET called One Shot. So that was my first placement. And then I did some work with my boy CJ Fly from Pro Era, played keys on his project. And then there's another artist that was signed to Maybach Music called Issa Muhammad that Rick Ross had signed. And I think he ended up getting dropped from the label after, but that was my, I guess, third placement. But my first major label placement was with Drake on his More Life album. I did Nothings into Somethings, and that's when like things started to like slowly take off from there.
Fantastic. I mean, you did talk about the experiences, but also in terms of training and getting that core ability to produce music. How did it also start for you?
My introduction into making music came from my brother, KG. When he moved to the States in, I think, 2001, he wasn't able to work with Hammer because, you know, the internet wasn't really a thing to where you could just, oh, let me just email you beats. That wasn't a thing back then. Okay. So he had to learn how to produce his own stuff. And so through that, I always used to be around him and I was just like, oh, what's this? What does this do? And I was just curious. And so he taught me how to make beats. And it just used to be like a fun thing I did at that time. And so I think by the time I was 16 and I started getting into more like the underground boom bap sound, I was like, yeah, I think I really want to produce full on.
Good. And sonically, how much has changed from that point to now?
Listen, all my beats used to sound like Ninth Wonder and Jay Dilla, like all the soulful hip hop stuff. And then I learned how to play keys by the time I started doing my master's degree. And really like, it's funny because my brother always used to be like, oh, you need to learn how to play the keyboard. You need to learn how to play the keys. And I was like, man, Ninth Wonder never had to play keys and he did this and Dylan never had to, blah, blah, blah. And then I ended up meeting this other producer who's like my best friend now, Oh Gosh Leotis. And I was hearing his beats and I'm like, dang, what samples are these? And he's like, oh, I don't really sample anymore. Like, I just play everything. And I was like, from that moment on, I was like, I have to learn how to play the keys. And so I was teaching myself a lot of stuff. My boy Bruce 24K showed me the C minor scale because I always liked West Coast music. And so he was like, oh, all West Coast music is in the C minor scale. So he taught me that. I was on my way to making West Coast beats. And then my boy Christopher Elliott also showed me a couple things. But for the most part, everything after that was all self-taught.
Good. And you said you've done your master's. Is it in music?
Yeah, so my degree was music production for visual media, and the focus was film scoring, music for commercials, and video games.
Great. And so how many nominations have you had so far with Grammys?
So I recently found out that producers, so initially when I was nominated, we were nominated for Album of the Year and Best Rap Album for Kanye West Donda. So producers, I just found out that producers don't qualify for the Best Rap Album. We only qualify for Album of the Year. So I'm only Grammy nominated, but I'm gonna end up getting nominated again, I'm sure, at some point. So, and hopefully I come home with the win.
Great. I mean, you did talk about some of the artists you've worked already with. Who are some of the people you want to work? Let's talk about out there first before we even come back home.
Let's see. I was working on Schoolboy Q's album. I've been working with YG. Dang, who else could I actually talk about? I'm just gonna say TDE, and that's the label that Kendrick Lamar used to be signed to. So I've worked with pretty much their entire roster except him and SZA, but I'm sure the SZA thing will happen eventually.
So, in terms of knowledge, when labels sign up, do they sign you guys to produce for the people, the artist, or you are free to pretty much do anything at some point?
It's so many different ways, like to get in with the artists. Like I've had when I was working with Westside Boogie, his DJ had seen a video of me making a beat for this company called Machine Masters, I think. It was like an on-the-spot session. So I'm one of the few producers who didn't use a sample, and I made everything from scratch. And so he saw that and he was like, oh, we want you to come into the studio and work with Boogie. That's one way. Another way, engineers have hit me up like, oh, I have this session, send me beats for this person because they're gonna be in. The labels have hit me up. I've had A&Rs hit me up. I've had other producers. Most of the time it's usually through producers. They'll always be like, oh, because they know I play keys, so I make a bunch of melody loops. So that's how I've gotten a lot of my placements, was just through making melodies that sound like samples and stuff like that. And so I'll just send the melodies out, and then they usually hit me up like, oh, he's using this one, we made a beat out of it, here's the record. And then sometimes I'll go over the top of it, do some post-production work, whatever the case may be, and yeah.
Good.
A lot of different ways to skin a cow.
Good. I mean, do you come to Ghana often? You're here now. Do you come often?
Last time I was here was 2018. Good. And I've been trying to come every December, but it just hasn't worked out. But finally, I feel like this is the right time.
And what do you make of music? I mean, first of all, while you're out there, and then now that you're here, what have you picked up?
I've picked up that, when I was out there and I was listening to a lot of the music, I'm on these Apple playlists and stuff like that, trying to find all the hottest Ghanaian artists. And I'm looking through these playlists and I'm searching where everybody's from. And by the time I go through 40 names, it's all Nigerians and one Ghanaian. And so I'm just what's happening? Yeah, I'm just I thought, because from what I was told, Afrobeat had started in Ghana. So it's why aren't we running the sound? But I mean, it's no shade or diss to Nigeria, obviously, because they're great at what they do. But I'm just why isn't there more of us in the limelight? And so I'm still trying to figure out how the industry works out here.
Cool. And once you've been here, what have been some of the things you've been doing with the industry?
I've been working with artists. I've worked with a few artists so far. I was in last night with Quabena MP. We were going crazy. I think 2 days before that, I was with Brian the Mensa and Spicer Dobbs. And those are the only 2 sessions I've had so far. And tomorrow, I'm supposed to be working with Rocky Dauni. I might have Yako To pull up. And I think later this week, possibly Kwesi Arthur. And there's been a lot of people that have been hitting me up, but I'm so limited on time. And I just feel I would have to start my day at the studio in the morning and end the next morning in order to finish what I actually want to do.
True. And you did talk about having a lot of people break out even in the US from Africa nowadays. As a hitmaker yourself, what advice would you give that Ghanaian artist who wants that sort of breakthrough in markets like America?
You guys should have crossover records. I think that's what is missing. And I've realized that just from hearing, there's an artist that does this really particularly well that I really liked. I think his name, is it Rima?
Rima.
Yeah. He's probably one of my favorite Nigerian artists because his sound is literally what I was trying to get people to do back in like 2018, 2019. And I guess people weren't receptive to it. But now it's like everybody wants to, well, I guess more so Nigerians and Americans want to do that sound, but it's like there's 3, 4 American producers on that album. And so I'm just like, you know, I know the sauce, I know the flavor, I know what I can bring to the table. So I'm literally trying to like give Ghana a new sound. Artists just have to trust me with it. That's just what it's gonna come down to. Because I could preach all day and be like, we gotta do this, we gotta do this. If the artists don't wanna do it, yeah, it's on them. So it's like, I feel like Ghanaians just need to get out of their own way and their own head sometimes and just, you know, be open to everything.
So finally, what should we expect from Nabeyin from Ghana, working with Ghanaian artists and beyond? What next?
So, 2 things. I'm gonna try and do a writing camp, possibly in December when I come back. And I'm gonna have like some of the best songwriters, producers, and artists, all Ghanaian, at this writing camp, and we're gonna make a whole bunch of records and possibly put out an album. But even outside of that, I'm already gonna be trying to do my own album just to like, you know, release out here, just to showcase like all the talent that Ghana has. That way I bring more attention to artists out here in the industry as well.
Fantastic. We wish you all the very best. It's been a pleasure speaking with you.
Thank you, thank you.
All right, guys, so make sure you subscribe if you haven't yet and come back for more amazing content. Bye-bye.